Imagine yourself transported to a vast and stunning ancient land, under a clear blue sky that stretches infinitely above you. It is a hot and sunny afternoon in the heart of Haran, a bustling city filled with people and caravans crossing the region in search of trade and prosperity. In the midst of this setting, there is a well, a source of life and hope for all who pass by. Abraham's servant, a man of unwavering faith and sacred mission, arrives at the well after a long and exhausting journey. His feet are tired, and his clothes are marked by sweat and travel dust. He carries the responsibility of finding a wife for Isaac, Abraham's beloved son, ensuring the continuation of the lineage chosen by God. Before approaching the women who could be potential wives for Isaac, the servant retreats to a quiet corner and raises his hands in prayer. With a heart full of hope and trust, he asks God for a clear sign to identify the right woman. His prayer is sincere, seeking not only to fulfill Abraham's will but also to ensure that the union is blessed by the Lord. In this moment of silence and contemplation, a young woman appears. Rebekah, a woman of serene and kind beauty, walks toward the well with grace and dignity. Her eyes reflect a mixture of curiosity and generosity, and her warm smile lights up her face. She is wrapped in a simple yet elegant cloak that highlights her natural beauty. As Rebekah approaches, she notices the servant's presence. Without hesitation, she leaves her own water jar and begins to serve the man and his needs. With delicate movements and a generous heart, she starts to fill the water pipes, not only to quench the servant's thirst but also for all the camels that accompany him. Her altruistic attitude and hospitality are evident in every gesture, demonstrating a purity of heart that transcends appearances. The servant watches Rebekah's every action carefully, recognizing in her the divine sign he had requested. He feels a deep peace and an unshakable certainty that he has found the woman destined to be Isaac's wife. His prayer has been answered in a clear and magnificent way, reflecting God's protective hand in every detail of that meeting. As Rebekah continues to serve gracefully, the surrounding environment seems to transform. The soft sound of water being poured, the sunlight reflecting on the wellstones, and Rebekah's harmonious presence create an atmosphere of tranquility and purpose. It is as if time itself has slowed down to witness that special moment, where destiny and faith meet perfectly. Finally, when all the camels are satisfied and Rebekah's jar is empty, she returns to her jar, feeling satisfied and blessed to help. The servant, with gratitude and reverence, approaches her to express his thanks. He shares with Rebekah the divine mission that brought him there and explains the importance of her selection for the future of his family and the people of Israel. Rebekah, with an open heart and a willingness to follow God's will, accepts the mission with humility and determination. She understands that her generosity and faith have placed her on the right path and is ready to embark on a new journey that will change her life forever. Thus, at that blessed well, two lives meet in an extraordinary way, united by divine providence and the desire to fulfill a greater purpose. Rebekah's hospitality and kindness not only meet the servant's physical needs, but also symbolize the abundance of grace and blessings that flow when one fully trusts in God's plan. Rebekah's meeting by the well teaches us about the importance of faith and generosity. In moments of search and uncertainty, it is trust in divine providence that guides us and connects us with those destined to walk alongside us. May we learn from Rebekah to extend a hand with kindness and to trust in God's plans, even when the paths seem unknown. If you feel motivated and inspired by this content, check if you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss more videos like this. We will bring a series of content with biblical teachings and inspiring stories that motivate us to continue, preventing us from giving up. Let us proceed with the story. After the emotional meeting by the well, Abraham's servant knew that something extraordinary had happened. Rebekah's generosity and kindness were not just gestures of hospitality, but clear signs of divine intervention. With a heart full of gratitude and conviction, he shared with Rebekah and her family the details of the mission he had received from Abraham. Every word he spoke was filled with hope and purpose, emphasizing the importance of finding a wife who not only complemented Isaac but also shared Abraham's faith and values. Upon hearing the story, Rebekah's family felt a mixture of emotions: pride, honor, and profound reverence for God's direction. Abraham, though physically absent, was present in spirit, guiding every step of that decision. Through prayers and divine guidance, it became clear that Rebekah was the chosen one to play a crucial role in continuing the lineage blessed by God. The certainty that God was in control brought immense peace to all involved, strengthening Rebekah's and her family's faith. Rebekah and her family's decision to follow God's will was not made lightly. Leaving behind their homeland, family ties, and known security required immense courage. Preparations for the journey began immediately. Rebekah bid farewell to her parents and siblings with tears in her eyes, but with a confident smile, knowing she was being guided by a greater force. Her mother, though sad to see her daughter leave, fervently blessed her, giving her a small amulet as a symbol of divine protection and blessing. The next morning, under a sky painted with the colors of dawn, Rebekah embarked on the journey that would take her to a new land. With Abraham's servant by her side, she walked through varied landscapes, vast golden deserts, green hills, and refreshing oases that offered relief from the sun's heat. Each step was a mix of excitement and nervousness, but Rebekah's unwavering faith kept her steady, trusting that God would guide her all the way. The journey was not without challenges. There were days of intense heat, where the sand seemed to burn her feet, and cold nights under a starry sky that tested Rebekah's physical and emotional endurance. Encounters with wild animals and sudden storms were also part of the adventure, but the constant presence of Abraham's servant and divine protection made each obstacle surmountable. Rebekah learned to value every small victory and to find strength in God's promises, which sustained her in moments of weakness. After weeks of travel, the horizon finally revealed the new land destined to house Rebekah and Isaac. The fertile lands and rolling hills were a testament to God's faithfulness in fulfilling his promises. Upon sighting Isaac's residence, Rebekah felt a mix of relief and anticipation. It was the beginning of a new chapter, where she would not only become Isaac's wife but also a fundamental matriarch in the history of the people of Israel. When Rebekah arrived at Isaac's house, she was received with great joy and warmth. Isaac, who had been eagerly awaiting her arrival, felt a deep immediate connection, as if their paths were destined to cross from the beginning of time. The reunion was filled with emotion and gratitude, celebrating not only the union of two people but also the continuation of God's promise through generations. With the marriage consummated, Rebekah and Isaac began to build a life together in the new land. Adapting to a new environment brought challenges and opportunities, but together, they faced each situation with faith and determination. Rebekah, with her wisdom and kindness, became an indispensable companion to Isaac, supporting him in all his responsibilities and dreams. Together, they planted the seeds of a family that, guided by God's hand, would flourish and become the foundation of a blessed nation. Rebekah's journey reveals the importance of fully trusting in divine providence, even when faced with uncertainties and significant changes. Her courage in leaving behind the familiar and embracing the unknown inspires us to follow our purposes with faith and determination. Just like Rebekah, we are called to trust that God is guiding every step of our lives, leading us to where we need to be and fulfilling His perfect plans for us. In moments of decision and challenge, may we remember Rebekah's story and find strength in the certainty that God's hand is always present, directing us toward a blessed future. Do you feel any resemblance between the moment you are living and the story told? Do you feel like you are experiencing something similar? Tell us how you feel. If you need a prayer or help, share a story of overcoming to inspire us and give us strength not to give up. Comment if you want to help someone or need help. Imagine yourself on a golden afternoon, where the sun begins to bid farewell on the horizon, tinging the sky with shades of orange, pink, and purple. The air is infused with the soft aroma of wildflowers growing around the field. It is in this peaceful and serene setting that Rebekah, already arrived in the Promised Land, walks toward the field where Isaac, her future husband, is meditating. Isaac, now mature, spends the final hours of the day reflecting on the blessings and challenges God has placed in his life. His well-groomed beard and deep eyes reveal the wisdom and serenity that come from a life dedicated to faith and work in the field. Upon seeing Rebekah approaching, there is a moment of silence where both feel the divine presence sealing that meeting. Rebekah, with her heart full of faith and hope, approaches with firm yet graceful steps. She carries her empty water jar and a simple backpack with her few belongings. Her eyes meet Isaac's, and in that instant, a deep and inexplicable connection forms between them. It is as if God, with his invisible hand, had orchestrated every detail for that moment to happen. Isaac looks away to the sunset for a moment before speaking. His voice is soft but carries a quiet authority. "Welcome, Rebekah. It is a blessing to have you here." Rebekah responds with a warm smile, feeling immediately welcomed. "I thank God for this meeting. Abraham trusted in his providence, and I am here to fulfill the mission that was given to me." The two begin to converse, sharing their stories of faith and hopes for the future. Isaac speaks about his life in the field, the difficulties faced, and the promises God made to him and his family. Rebekah, in turn, shares about her life in Haran, her loving family, and her willingness to follow God's will, even leaving behind everything she knew. As the conversation progresses, Mutual respect and admiration turn into a deeper feeling. Isaac sees in Rebekah not just a suitable wife, but a partner in faith and life. Rebekah, in turn, perceives in Isaac a man of integrity, kindness, and devotion to God, someone with whom she can build a family based on solid and spiritual principles. They walk together through the field, sharing laughs and reflections. Isaac shows Rebekah his favorite places to meditate and pray, and she shares the techniques she learned in her homeland to find peace and serenity. The harmony between them is evident, and every gesture and word reinforces the certainty that that meeting was orchestrated by God Himself. Over time, Rebekah is officially welcomed into Isaac's tent, the same one that Sarah, Isaac's deceased mother, once inhabited. The tent, now a symbol of continuity and tradition, is a place of welcome and love. Rebekah brings with her the memory of Sarah, and together, they honor the heritage of faith and devotion passed down through generations. Adapting to the new life is not without challenges, but God's constant presence and mutual support strengthen the bond between Rebekah and Isaac. They work together in the field, attend to household needs, and nurture the seed of a family that, according to divine promises, will become the lineage of Israel. Each day is an opportunity to grow in love and faith, consolidating the foundation upon which a great nation will be built. The union of Rebekah and Isaac is not just the joining of two people, but the integration of two lives destined to fulfill a greater purpose. Divine providence is clearly present, guiding every step and every decision. The love that blossoms between them is a testimony to God's faithfulness in fulfilling His promises and orchestrating meetings that shape the destiny of future generations. Rebekah, with her wisdom and compassion, perfectly complements Isaac, and together, they become pillars in the community, exemplifying a marriage based on faith, trust in God, and genuine love. Sarah's tent, now filled with life and hope, is the setting where the story of God's people continues to unfold, with Rebekah playing a fundamental role in preserving and expanding the blessed lineage. The story of Rebekah's meeting with Isaac inspires us to believe that God is always present, guiding our steps and orchestrating the crucial moments of our lives. When we trust in divine providence, even in moments of uncertainty, we are led to places and people that fulfill greater purposes. Rebekah and Isaac teach us that, with faith and love, we can build strong and meaningful relationships capable of facing challenges and celebrating blessings. May we follow Rebekah's example, trusting in God and allowing Him to guide us in every meeting and decision, knowing that He has a perfect plan for each of us. Time passes in the new land, and Rebekah and Isaac's life continues its peaceful and blessed course. They work together in the field, attend to household needs, and cultivate a deep spiritual connection. However, a growing shadow looms over their home, Rebekah's infertility. The absence of children brings with it silent pain, an anguish that weighs on the couple's hearts. Rebekah, a woman of unwavering faith, feels the void of motherhood intensely. Each passing season without the arrival of a child is a reminder of God's promise that has yet to materialize in their family. Isaac, equally devoted, shares this pain, but together, they face the sadness with courage and hope. The nights are long, filled with silent prayers and deep conversations about the future they hope to build. Amidst this struggle, Rebekah and Isaac decide not to give up. They understand that God has a greater plan and that the wait is part of the journey of faith. With humble hearts and hopeful souls, they turn to prayer with even more fervor. Days of reflection, fasting, and supplications are offered to the Lord, asking for a miracle that brings the joy of motherhood to their family. Then, in a moment of silence and serenity, God's answer comes in a surprising and glorious way. Rebekah discovers that she is pregnant, but not with one, but with two twin boys. The news is received with a mix of disbelief and jubilation. The joy that floods Isaac's home is indescribable, a celebration that transcends words and reflects God's faithfulness in fulfilling His promises. Rebekah's pregnancy is a period of great expectation and preparation. The surrounding community shares in the couple's joy, offering support and celebrations in honor of the received blessing. Rebekah feels renewed, her faith strengthened by the divine response that confirms God is truly by their side every step of the journey. In Rebekah's womb, the boys begin to move, and Rebekah feels a silent struggle between them. The growing tension reflects divine promises and the destiny that is to come. Worried about the future son's well-being, Rebekah prays again, seeking God's guidance and protection for her twins. In response to her prayers, Rebekah receives a prophetic word. There are 2 kings in your womb, and 2 in your future lineage. The older will serve the younger. This prophecy is a clear sign of divine intervention, indicating that Rebekah's sons' destinies will be intertwined with God's promises for the nation of Israel. Rebekah keeps this word in her heart, understanding that it will be fundamental for her family's future and the chosen people of God. As the months pass, Rebekah gives birth to Esau and Jacob, the twins who will bring great changes to Abraham's lineage. The arrival of the boys is celebrated with great joy and gratitude. Isaac and Rebekah see in their children the fulfillment of God's promise and the hope for a blessed future. The pain of infertility is replaced by the joy of parenthood, renewing their faith and trust in the Lord. Rebekah, now mother of 2 sons, reflects on the journey of faith she and Isaac have undertaken. The struggle with infertility and the answered prayer are living testimonies of God's faithfulness in fulfilling His promises. She feels deep gratitude for being chosen to play such a crucial role in the history of God's people. Her faith remains steadfast, and she continues to trust in divine providence to guide her family on the paths yet to come. Rebekah's story and her struggle with infertility teach us about the importance of perseverance in faith and trust in God's promises, even when facing long periods of waiting and uncertainty. Rebekah and Isaac show us that through fervent prayer and unwavering trust, we can experience miracles that transform our lives and fulfill divine purposes. In times of difficulty, we are inspired to maintain our faith and believe that God is listening to our prayers, ready to bless us in ways beyond our understanding. May we follow Rebekah's example, trusting in divine providence and celebrating the blessings He has reserved for us, knowing that His faithfulness never fails. Like if you're enjoying this, so YouTube can continue to recommend videos like this, and it will be helping and motivating us to continue. We thank you for every second, and may God bless you. Rebekah and Isaac's life, though blessed, was not without challenges. As days passed and the joy of the twins' arrival grew, a silent concern began to form in Rebekah's heart. The movements in her maternal womb indicated that the boys were not just playing together. There was a constant and intense struggle between them. This invisible battle reflected the complexities that would shape the family's destiny and, by extension, the nation God was forming through them. Rebekah watched every movement of her children with a mix of love and apprehension. Every kick and revolt was a reminder of divine promises and the responsibilities they were about to assume. The infertility that once caused pain now transformed into anxious hope, but also brought uncertainty about the future. Isaac, always the pillar of strength, shared his wife's concern, but together, they remained steadfast in faith. Driven by restlessness and unconditional love for her children, Rebekah sought comfort and guidance through prayer. In moments of quietude, she would retreat to the tent's courtyard, where the gentle breeze brought the whisper of leaves and the distant song of birds. There, with an open heart and joined hands, Rebekah would call out to God for understanding and direction. Lord, you who see beyond what the eyes can perceive, hear my plea. Understand the struggle unfolding within me, and grant me wisdom to guide my children on the path you have prepared for them. On a serene night, as the moon illuminated the tent with its silvery light, Rebekah felt an inexplicable peace envelop her being. It was as if a soft and loving voice was speaking directly to her heart, bringing clarity and purpose. In the stillness of that sacred moment, Rebekah received a prophetic word that would change the course of her life and Abraham's lineage. There are 2 kings in your womb, and 2 in your future lineage. The older will serve the younger. These words resonated deeply within Rebekah, bringing a mix of surprise and understanding. In her time's culture, the firstborn held privileges and special responsibilities. The idea that the older would serve the younger was an inversion of established traditions, signaling a significant change in God's plan for her family. Rebekah reflected on the received prophecy, understanding that she was facing a greater divine purpose. The struggle between the twins was not just a reflection of their distinct personalities, but also a forewarning of the dynamics that would shape the history of the people of Israel. The promise that the older would serve the younger indicated that, despite appearances, God was in absolute control, directing every step with wisdom and justice. Determined to honor the received word, Rebekah decided to keep this promise in her heart, sharing it only with Isaac. Together, they understood that this revelation was not just a prediction but a guide for future decisions that would affect their sons' lives and the continuity of the lineage chosen by God. With the certainty of the prophecy, Rebekah and Isaac began to prepare for what was to come. They understood that the twins' lives would not be easy and that each would have a unique role in fulfilling divine promises. This preparation included not only physical and spiritual care, but also creating an environment where both sons could grow and develop their gifts according to God's will. Rebekah, strengthened by faith and the certainty of the divine promise, found comfort in trusting that God was guiding every aspect of her life. She knew that, regardless of the internal struggles, God's providence would ensure that the plans were fulfilled perfectly. This trust allowed Rebekah to face each challenge with serenity and determination, knowing she was fulfilling a crucial role in the grand tapestry of divine history. As Rebekah and Isaac awaited the twins' birth, the hope of a blessed future permeated every aspect of their lives. The promise that the older would serve the younger was not just an expectation but a guarantee that, even in the most challenging circumstances, God was working to fulfill his promises and shape a nation that would be a light to the world. The promise God made to Rebekah within her children's womb teaches us about the importance of trusting in divine providence, even when paths seem uncertain and traditions are challenged. Rebekah shows us that, even in the face of internal struggles and unexpected challenges, faith and obedience to God guide us toward greater purposes. May we, like Rebekah, keep God's promises in our hearts, trusting that he is always working to fulfill his perfect plans in our lives. Regardless of adversities, God's faithfulness assures us that his purposes will prevail, bringing blessings beyond our understanding. Years pass in the Promised Land, and Isaac and Rebekah's family flourishes under God's grace. Esau and Jacob, the blessed twins, begin to display distinct personalities that reflect the different paths their lives will take. While Esau grows strong and fearless, Jacob develops a calmer and more contemplative nature, laying the foundations for the unique destinies reserved for them. From an early age, Esau demonstrates an adventurous spirit and a natural ability for hunting. His days are spent in the vast landscapes, tracking wild animals with impressive skill. The sound of his boots pounding the ground and the echo of his laughter resonate through the fields, witnessing his passion for freedom and the thrill of the hunt. Isaac, their father, sees Esau as a vigorous and capable son, someone who can sustain the family and protect the home. He appreciates Esau's ability to provide fresh meat for meals and admires his courage in facing the challenges nature presents. The relationship between father and son is strengthened by the moments shared during hunts, where conversations about life, faith, and God's promises intertwine with the adrenaline of adventure. In contrast, Jacob prefers the tranquility of the tents and his mother's company, Rebekah. While Esau is often absent, exploring the outside world, Jacob finds peace in household tasks and shepherding the flock. His skillful hands care for the sheep with affection, guiding them through green pastures and ensuring each one is safe and well-fed. Jacob develops a deep connection with Rebekah, absorbing her wisdom and learning the art of maintaining harmony at home. Afternoons are spent in serene conversations, where Rebekah shares stories of faith and hope, planting the seeds of resilient character and unwavering trust in God. Jacob grows into a thoughtful young man, whose serenity and kindness contrast with his brother's energetic nature. Rebekah, aware of the divine prophecy she had received, develops a special affection for Jacob the younger. She recognizes in him the continuation of God's promise and sees the qualities that would be essential to fulfilling the destiny reserved for them. This affection does not diminish her love for Esau but adds a dimension of protection and guidance for Jacob. During meals and moments of rest, Rebekah watches Jacob with silent pride, encouraging him to develop his skills and maintain his firm faith. She becomes his confidant and mentor, preparing him for future challenges with words of encouragement and spiritual teachings. Jacob, in turn, responds with gratitude and dedication, absorbing every lesson and applying it to his daily life. The daily interactions between Esau and Jacob are marked by a complex dynamic, where personality differences create both harmony and tension. Esau, with his free-spirited and adventurous nature, often feels misunderstood by Jacob, whose more reserved and introspective nature starkly contrasts his brother's liveliness. However, there are also moments of companionship and mutual respect, where both recognize the unique strengths and abilities each brings to the family. Rebekah, attentive to these interactions, acts as a balancing link, encouraging understanding and cooperation between the brothers. She understands that despite their differences, Esau and Jacob have essential roles to play in fulfilling divine promises and shaping the lineage that will give rise to the people of Israel. Her paternal guidance helps mitigate conflicts and promote an environment of love and mutual respect. As Esau continues to excel as a skilled hunter and Jacob establishes himself as a diligent shepherd, both are destined to play crucial roles in the unfolding history. Esau, with his strength and fearlessness, will represent the warrior aspect of the nation of Israel, while Jacob, with his wisdom and resilient spirit, will be the founder of the lineage that will perpetuate God's promises. Rebekah, watching her sons grow, feels a mix of pride and expectation. She knows that Esau and Jacob's paths are distinct but equally important for fulfilling the divine purpose. Her faith remains unwavering, trusting that God will guide her sons every step, even when circumstances seem challenging or uncertain. Over the years, Rebekah and Isaac prepare for the challenges ahead, aware that Esau and Jacob's distinct personalities will be tested and refined by future experiences. They dedicate time to teach and strengthen their sons' faith, preparing them for the roles they will play in continuing the blessed lineage. Esau learns to balance his passion for hunting with the responsibility of being the firstborn, while Jacob develops leadership skills and a deeper understanding of divine promises. Both brothers grow not only physically but also spiritually, shaped by the experiences and teachings they receive from their parents. Isaac and Rebekah deeply love their sons, each in their own way. Isaac takes pride in Esau's abilities and encourages him to continue developing his passion for hunting, while Rebekah supports Jacob in his journey of faith and dedication to the home. This unconditional love provides a solid foundation for Esau and Jacob to grow and face challenges with confidence and courage. Rebekah, in particular, feels a special responsibility in guiding Jacob, knowing that he has a fundamental role in fulfilling God's promises. Her guidance and support are pillars that sustain Jacob, helping him navigate life's complexities and remain faithful to the divine purpose. As Esau and Jacob mature, the promise made within Rebekah's womb begins to manifest in subtle and profound ways. The differences between the brothers not only reflect their unique personalities, but also foreshadow the divergent paths they will take toward fulfilling God's promises. Rebekah, with her wisdom and faith, continues to nurture and guide her sons, ensuring that the divine promise is honored and realized. Esau and Jacob's growth is a crucial stage in Rebekah and Isaac's story, demonstrating how God works through human differences to fulfill his greater purposes. Through love, guidance, and unwavering faith, Rebekah and Isaac prepare their sons to play significant roles in forming the people of Israel, highlighting God's faithfulness at every stage of life. Esau and Jacob's journey reminds us that, despite differences and challenges, each individual has a unique and valuable role in fulfilling divine plans. The brothers' distinct personalities reflect the diversity with which God operates, showing that every characteristic has its purpose in life's grand mosaic. Rebekah and Isaac inspire us to value and nurture the individualities of those around us, recognizing that even in apparent divergences, there is divine harmony at work. May we learn from Rebekah to cultivate faith and trust in God, allowing Him to guide our steps and shape our destinies according to His perfect will. In every challenge and every victory, God's faithfulness remains constant, ensuring that His purposes are fulfilled in extraordinary ways through our lives. The stage was set for one of the most decisive moments in the history of Isaac and Rebekah's family. Isaac, now old and with significantly deteriorated eyesight, felt that the time to bless his sons was approaching. Isaac's blessing was not merely a formality, it was a solemn declaration of God's promises for Abraham's lineage, intended to ensure that divine blessings continued to be passed down through generations. Isaac deeply loved both his sons, Esau and Jacob, but knew that the firstborn's blessing held special significance, establishing the firstborn as the heir of God's promises. Esau, the firstborn, was a skilled and vigorous hunter, traits that Isaac admired and considered ideal for the lineage's continuity. However, Rebekah, aware of the divine prophecy that Jacob would be the primary heir, felt the urgency to ensure that the blessing destined for Esau was transferred to Jacob. Rebekah, remembering the prophetic word God had given her, knew that her sons and the nation of Israel's future depended on this moment. She observed the concern on Isaac's face and understood that the blessing about to be given would not only affect the family dynamics, but also the fulfillment of divine promises. Determined to act according to God's will, Rebekah devised a careful strategy to ensure Jacob received the blessing. With cunning and determination, Rebekah approached Jacob, explaining the moment's importance and the need to follow the divine plan. She guided Jacob to disguise himself as Esau, using the goat skins she had prepared to mimic Esau's rough skin. Additionally, Rebekah instructed Jacob to bring a special dish that matched Esau's preferences, ensuring Isaac would not notice the difference. On the night designated for the blessing, Rebekah accompanied Jacob to Isaac's tent, where the father was prepared to grant the blessing. With her heart pounding, Jacob, covered in goat skins, approached Isaac. Isaac's hoarse voice, combined with Esau's familiarity, nearly prevented immediate recognition. However, Rebekah's skill in preparing the environment and the dishes helped convince Isaac that Jacob was indeed Esau. Isaac, sensing his firstborn's presence, bestowed the blessing with faith and authority. Jacob, following Rebekah's instructions, received the blessing that included promises of prosperity, dominion over nations, and abundance of wealth. The emotion of the moment was palpable, with Isaac believing he was blessing Esau, while Jacob absorbed the blessing that would secure his place as the primary heir. After the blessing, Esau returned to the tent only to discover that the blessing had been transferred to Jacob. Esau's disappointment and anger were intense, resulting in a vow of revenge that would later force Jacob to flee to avoid conflict. Rebekah, despite the immediate consequences, knew she had fulfilled the divine plan to ensure God's promise was realized through Jacob. Although Rebekah's intervention might seem deceitful to human eyes, within the context of faith and divine promises, it was a crucial piece in fulfilling God's purpose for Abraham's lineage. Rebekah's courage and faith demonstrated her dedication to following God's will, even in the face of moral and ethical challenges. The story of Rebekah's deceptive blessing challenges us to reflect on the complexity of human decisions and God's sovereignty in guiding events to fulfill His purposes. Rebekah acted with determination and faith, trusting that God was in control, even when her actions seemed controversial. This narrative teaches us that, in moments of uncertainty and conflict, faith and obedience to God can guide us to fulfill a greater destiny. May we learn from Rebekah to trust in divine providence, act with courage in difficult times, and recognize that even in the most complex situations, God is working to realize His perfect plans in our lives. Rebekah and her children's story reaches a critical point, where faith, courage, and maternal love intertwine to ensure the continuity of divine promises. After the deceptive blessing, Esau returns to the tent only to discover that the blessing he expected was, in fact, given to Jacob. Esau's disappointment and anger are intense, creating a climate of tension and insecurity that threatens family harmony and the fulfillment of God's plan. Upon realizing that Jacob had received the blessing intended for him, Esau feels betrayed and humiliated. The firstborn, who always expected to be the primary heir, now sees his status and rights being undermined. Esau's frustration quickly turns into uncontrollable rage, fueled by a sense of injustice and the threat to his legacy. His blurred vision does not prevent him from feeling the emotional pain and the need to avenge what he considers a deceitful act. Rebekah, witnessing Esau's reaction, is consumed by fear for Jacob's safety. She understands that her firstborn's anger could lead to devastating consequences for Jacob, who, despite his importance in the chosen lineage, now faces the possibility of being targeted for revenge. Rebekah's maternal instinct drives her to act swiftly to protect her younger son, ensuring that the divine promise is not interrupted by family conflicts. With a heavy but determined heart, Rebekah decides to send Jacob to Haran, to her uncle Laban's house. This decision is not only an act of protection, but also a strategy to maintain the continuity of the divine promise. Rebekah understands that by sending Jacob to live with Laban, she is ensuring his safety and that he can continue to fulfill the role God has assigned him. The journey to Haran represents a new chapter in Jacob's life, where he will face new challenges and opportunities to grow and prosper. Rebekah prepares Jacob for the journey, ensuring he is equipped with everything he needs for the long trip. She talks to him about the importance of maintaining faith and trust in God, even amidst uncertainties. Rebekah also advises Jacob on how to handle potential encounters with Esau in the future, emphasizing the need to remain calm and serene. Her guidance is grounded in the wisdom gained through experiences and divine promises, preparing Jacob for the challenges ahead. The following morning, under a clear and promising sky, Jacob departs for Haran, accompanied by servants and camels that will take him to Laban's house. The farewell is filled with emotions, with Rebekah watching her son leave with a mix of pride and concern. She prays silently, asking for divine protection over Jacob and the fulfillment of the promises made to Abraham. The journey is long and arduous, but Jacob remains steadfast, guided by faith and the certainty that God is by his side. After days of travel, Jacob finally arrives in Haran, where he is warmly welcomed by his uncle Laban. Laban's house is a refuge of safety and love, providing Jacob with an environment where he can settle and begin a new phase of his life. Rebekah, seeing Jacob safe in Haran, feels profound relief, knowing that divine protection continues to act through her decisions. Laban's presence offers Jacob the opportunity to grow, learn, and strengthen his faith, preparing him for the roles he will play in the future. With Jacob secure in Haran, the divine promise remains unchanged. Rebekah, by protecting her younger son, ensures that Abraham's lineage continues to prosper and fulfill God's plan. Rebekah's decision, though complex and filled with challenges, is a testament to her unwavering faith and dedication to following the divine will, even when it means facing personal and family difficulties. Rebekah's attitude reflects divine intervention in people's lives, demonstrating that God works through human decisions to fulfill his greater purposes. Rebekah's maternal protection and the continuity of the divine promise are clear evidence of God's faithfulness in guiding and shaping the chosen people's history. This narrative highlights how, even in moments of conflict and uncertainty, God's hand remains active, directing events toward the realization of his perfect plans. Rebekah and her son's protection and the continuity of the divine promise teach us about the importance of faith, courage, and trust in God, even in moments of adversity and uncertainty. Rebekah demonstrates that, with faith and determination, we can overcome challenges and protect what is valuable, ensuring that God's plans are fulfilled in our lives and the lives of those we love. May we be inspired by Rebekah's courage to act with wisdom and faith in our own journeys, trusting that God is always present, guiding and protecting us, ensuring that his purposes are fulfilled in a sublime and powerful way. Just like Rebekah, may our actions reflect our trust in divine providence, allowing love and faith to lead us toward a blessed and promise-filled future. Rebekah's journey, from her meeting at the well to the protection of Jacob, is a powerful testimony of the continuous work of divine providence amidst life's complexities. Rebekah's story reveals that, even in the face of difficult choices, deep doubts, and the inherent imperfections of the human condition, God is always present, guiding each step with wisdom and purpose. Rebekah faced numerous challenges: infertility that brought pain and uncertainty, tension between her twin sons, and the morally complex decisions she had to make to protect the lineage chosen by God. In each of these moments, her unwavering faith served as an anchor, allowing her to navigate turbulent waters with courage and determination. Just like Rebekah, we too encounter situations in our lives where solutions are unclear and paths are obscure. It is in these moments that faith becomes our greatest ally, reminding us that we are not alone and that a greater purpose is guiding our steps. From the simple and meaningful encounters at the well to the most intense family tensions, God's hand was present, leading Rebekah and her family toward fulfilling his promises. Every decision made, every obstacle overcome, was part of a larger divine plan aimed at forming a people destined to be a light to the world. Similarly, in our lives, even when we do not fully understand the events surrounding us, we can trust that divine providence is working in our favor, shaping us and preparing us for the purposes assigned to us. Rebekah's prayers were answered in a surprising and glorious way. The blessing of two twin sons, Jacob and Esau, each with their unique roles in Israel's history. This miracle renewed the couple's hope and strengthened their faith, showing that even when everything seems lost, God can bring unexpected blessings that transform our lives in ways we never imagined. In our own lives, we face days of waiting and moments of uncertainty, but Rebekah's story encourages us to maintain our faith, knowing that God has the power to perform miracles and fulfill His promises in ways that surpass our understanding. Rebekah's story invites us to reflect on our own journeys and how we face the challenges that come our way. Just as Rebekah trusted in divine guidance, we are called to trust in God, even when circumstances seem unfavorable or solutions appear out of reach. We must learn to recognize the signs of divine providence in our lives, valuing the encounters and moments of peace that reinforce our faith and determination to move forward. Rebekah ensured the continuity of the divine promise by protecting Jacob and ensuring he could fulfill his destined role. This reminds us that our actions have a lasting impact not only on our lives, but also on the lives of those around us and future generations. Every decision made with faith and obedience to God contributes to the realization of a greater purpose, beyond our own ambitions and desires. Rebekah's story is an inspiration to all of us, regardless of our age or stage of life. It teaches us that even amidst seemingly insurmountable difficulties, divine providence is always at work, guiding us toward a blessed and promise-filled future. As we face our own challenges and uncertainties, we can look to Rebekah's journey and find strength in the certainty that God is with us, directing our steps and fulfilling His purposes in our lives. May we, like Rebekah, cultivate unwavering faith, act with courage and wisdom in difficult decisions, and fully trust in divine providence. In every encounter, every wait, and every unexpected blessing, may we recognize God's hand working in our lives, ensuring that His perfect plans are realized in a sublime and powerful way. Thus, we will be strengthened to face daily challenges, knowing that with God by our side, we are destined to fulfill a greater purpose and live lives full of meaning and blessings. Thank you for watching up to here, and don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell to see more content like this and stories of overcoming, motivation, and interesting topics. Until next time.